In my opinion, a cash ISA is the most secure way to grow your money without putting it at risk. In this video, I'll be talking about the cash ISA and the benefits involved with opening one, and also the restrictions involved too. So in a normal bank or savings account, you get taxed on the interest that your money makes, but in an ISA it's effectively a tax-free savings account, so you don't get taxed on the interest and therefore leaves you with more money at the end of the day and a higher interest rate. So if we look at this chart, you can see the rate of standard savings accounts over the last 30 years. In 1990 it was hitting 13.5%, which is really high, and it decreased to around 4 to 5%, which is sort of what I remember having on my bank account as a child and a teenager. It then decreased again after 2008 recession to around 2%, and of course now in 2020 the rate is 1%, if not lower. The best rate I could find on a savings account last year was 0.45%, and even that was a 6-month offer, and it's now gone down to I think 0.1%. This is also a good time to point out the red line here on this chart, which represents the inflation rate, so the percentage of the rise in the cost of things. And inflation has actually been higher than the rate of savings accounts the last couple of years. You can see the red line overlaps the savings. So who can open a cash ISA? We have to either be a resident of the UK or a Crown servant in the UK, or a spouse or civil partner of the Crown servant if you are living out of the country. You can't hold in anybody else's name, you can only hold a cash ISA in your own name, and you have to be at least 16 years of age to own one. So in terms of picking a cash ISA, there are lots and lots of different providers around, many different banks. You may find that you get a better deal going with the bank that you're already with, as they may give you a better deal for being a loyal customer, but also you might find that shopping around and looking at new providers, they also might give you a better opening deal to new customers. It really does pay to look around. I find comparison sites really helpful for cash ISAs. They're constantly updating them. I'll leave some links down below for some good comparison sites for some cash ISAs. They do differ a lot in what they offer. Some of them don't allow you to withdraw at all until the time frame is up, so you put it in and have to leave it for a year and then you can access your money afterwards. Some do let you access your money but at a cost. Some let you access it for free, and also some of them will let you withdraw money but it will affect your ISA allowance. If you're not sure about what the allowance is, then check out my video on ISA allowances. Also, some pay the interest monthly and some pay annually, and also some of the ones that pay monthly, some of them pay into your ISA so that you can gain compound interest on this, and some also opt that they have to pay you their monthly interest out of the ISA so that you can't gain any more money from the interest. So they can differ a great deal, and it really does depend on what suits you the best and how accessible you want your money to be. So I'll go through some of the key terminology that you'll come across when looking for a cash ISA. So firstly, you have a fixed rate ISA, and what this essentially means is that it's a fixed amount of time, it's a fixed amount, and you give the bank that amount of money and you're not allowed to touch it until the agreed time period is over. So it's essentially locked away and inaccessible, out of sight, out of mind, and then later, after the time's up, you'll get the money back with the interest included. Now you can get fixed rates. I think you can get 1 year, 2 year or 3 year ISAs, and obviously the longer that you leave it in there for, the better interest rate they will give you. When it comes to a fixed rate ISA, it'll either be a lump sum at the beginning or it will be a regular monthly payment, and that amount is agreed before you open it. So it will be, for example, £200 every month, and you won't be able to change that. The opposite to a fixed rate cash ISA is an easy access ISA, and this essentially means that you can access it easily. So it means that you can take out money without being penalised. There won't be a penalty, there won't be a charge for taking money out. So this is a lot better for people that aren't comfortable locking their money away and maybe don't have an emergency fund available. So it's a way that you can put your money into a high savings account, but still be able to access the money if something comes up and you need to. And a last term I would like to bring up is the term flexible, and this means that basically if you take money out, it won't affect your ISA allowance for that tax year. If you put money into your ISA, then this eats into this tax allowance, but if it's flexible, then it means you can take the money out and you get your allowance back, so it resets to what it was before the money that you took out. So for example, if you took out £1,000, then your allowance will then go up by another £1,000 to represent how much is actually in your ISA at that time. So how is the interest rate for a cash ISA calculated? So most ISAs are a year long and they are calculated daily. So what this means is that they calculate the interest rate by dividing the interest rate by 365, so all of the days, and basically it's calculated every day using this number. And then the interest is then paid either monthly or yearly, depending on what your ISA provider chooses. And as I said earlier, if it's monthly, sometimes it can be paid into your ISA and sometimes it's paid directly to you to avoid compound interest. One thing I would like to point out is that you can only pay into one cash ISA in every tax year, so you can't own multiple cash ISAs, you are only allowed one. You can open a new one if you decide to change your mind and transfer your funds over from the old into the new, that's fine. That doesn't count as having two because you are transferring it over and only paying into one at a time. But do be aware that you can't open like a fixed rate and an easy access one at the same time and pay into both. Okay, that's it. I hope you found that video helpful. Please do leave a comment down below if you learnt anything new or have any questions for me. I'm happy to hear any responses that you guys have, and please like and subscribe too.